What if I told you that one of the most naturally gifted players in NHL history was also one of its biggest enigmas? A player whose skill could humiliate all-stars, but who often seemed allergic to practice, whose game day brilliance left crowds breathless, but whose inconsistency infuriated coaches. This is the story of Alex Kovalev, a player so uniquely talented that even his harshest critics had to stand back and admire. Today, we're diving deep into the journey of the man who turned puck control into an art form, frustrated teammates with his laid-back attitude, and still managed to carve out a legendary 18-year career. We'll uncover how a quiet kid from Russia defied every hockey convention, why teams kept both praising and trading him, and the lingering debate: was Kovalev proof that raw talent can outweigh hard work? Let's get into it. Alex Kovalev was born in 1973 in Togliatti, a small Russian city where hockey wasn't just a sport, it was religion. From a young age, Alex showed signs that he wasn't like the other kids. While most were clumsily chasing pucks, he seemed to control it like it was tied to his stick. His father noticed it first, a natural elegance in how he skated, moved, passed. Coaches couldn't believe how quickly he processed plays, but raw skill alone wasn't enough in the Soviet system. Kovalev entered the unforgiving world of CSKA Moscow, the legendary Red Army team that produced stars through brutal drills, military-like structure, and constant pressure. Yet even in that rigid environment, Kovalev's creativity refused to be suppressed. He didn't just survive that system, he learned its rules so he could break them later. In 1991, the New York Rangers made a bold move. With the 15th overall pick, they selected Kovalev, one of the first Russian-born players drafted that high after the fall of the Soviet Union. He was just 18, barely spoke English, and had never set foot in North America. Dropped into the chaos of New York City, the culture shock hit like a slap shot. The practices were different, the media was relentless, the lifestyle was overwhelming. But even with all that, Kovalev's talent couldn't be ignored. In just his first few appearances, he pulled off moves that had fans at Madison Square Garden out of their seats. He didn't just play hockey, he painted with it. Rangers coach Roger Nielsen was initially unsure how to handle him, but even he had to admit Kovalev could do things nobody else on the roster even dreamed of. Then came Mike Keenan, nicknamed Iron Mike for a reason. Keenan's philosophy was simple: if you weren't bleeding or gasping for breath, you weren't working hard enough. Discipline was everything. Kovalev, he was the opposite of that mindset. He hated practice. He didn't respond to screaming. He followed his own rhythm. Yet somehow, under Keenan's iron grip, Kovalev thrived. In the 1993-94 season, he scored 56 points, his best yet. And when the playoffs came, he turned it up another notch. Against the odds, he became a key contributor in the Rangers' quest to end a 54-year Stanley Cup drought. While veterans like Messier and Leach dominated headlines, Kovalev quietly made play after play that tipped games in their favor. At just 21, he lifted the cup. A Soviet-trained kid now at the center of one of hockey's most iconic moments. But the question lingered: could he sustain that brilliance? Or would the fire between him and coaches eventually burn out? Despite his success, tension simmered. Keenan and other coaches couldn't stand Kovalev's resistance to structure. He skipped drills, coasted through practices, and didn't always seem dialed in. Meanwhile, fans and teammates were mesmerized on game days. He was infuriating and irresistible. By 1995, rumors of a trade started swirling, and then it happened. Kovalev was shipped off to the Pittsburgh Penguins in a blockbuster deal. Rangers fans were stunned, so were his teammates. Why would you trade away that kind of pure talent? The Penguins, on the other hand, saw gold. They believed Kovalev could be the next great offensive weapon in a lineup already stacked with stars. In Pittsburgh, he was given space to shine, and he delivered. He scored goals that looked like video game cheats, weaving through defenders like they were pylons. Even Mario Lemieux was impressed. Kovalev, once an outsider, was now becoming a fan favorite again. In 1998, the Montreal Canadiens took a risk. They brought Kovalev into one of hockey's most demanding markets, hoping he could be their next superstar. But it didn't click, not at first. Kovalev struggled with the pressure, the media, the weight of expectations. Montreal wanted a leader. Kovalev just wanted to play his game. He was traded again, but in 2004, something changed. The Canadiens brought him back, and this time, they did it on his terms. Coach Claude Julien realized what others hadn't. Kovalev Kovalev didn't need to be controlled. He needed to be trusted. The result? One of the best seasons of his career. In 2007-8, he exploded for 84 points, electrifying the Bell Center every night. Fans adored him. Teammates marveled at him. He made the impossible look routine. Kovalev wasn't just playing well, he was dominating, but he was doing it his way. Ask anyone who played with Alex Kovalev, and you'll get the same answer. He was pure magic. On game day, in practice, that was another story. Captains like Saku Koivu openly admitted it was frustrating to watch Kovalev go through the motions during drills, only to completely take over once the puck dropped for real. Defensemen like Andrei Markov said he saw the game differently, like he had access to cheat codes nobody else could unlock. Coaches stopped trying to change him. Claude Julien even redesigned power plays around him. He tried to fit Kovalev into a system and failed. Letting him be himself was the only thing that worked, and the results were undeniable. His highlight reels became YouTube gold. One-handed dekes, no-look passes, between-the-legs finishes. He wasn't just a player, he was an artist, and his canvas was the ice. Over his 18-year NHL career, Kovalev played 1,316 games, scored 430 goals, and racked up 1,029 points. He made multiple All-Star appearances, won a Stanley Cup, and delivered some of the most jaw-dropping highlights the league has ever seen. But beyond the numbers, Kovalev's legacy sparks one of hockey's most enduring debates. Is greatness built through relentless discipline, or can natural talent alone carry a player to the top? To some coaches, Kovalev was a maddening puzzle, a player who could dominate games but resisted structure and often coasted through practice. They believed he could have been even better if he'd simply conformed. But others, like Claude Julien, learned to let go of that instinct. They realized Kovalev didn't need to be molded, he needed to be unleashed. And when that happened, magic followed. What made Kovalev so unique was how he challenged the NHL's traditional mold. He didn't grind the same way others did, but he still produced results that couldn't be ignored. His instincts, vision, and creativity made him unpredictable. Sometimes inconsistent, but always dangerous. He forced fans, coaches, and teammates to rethink what preparation and effort really meant. Whether you see him as an underachiever or a misunderstood genius, there's no denying one thing: Kovalev played the game on his own terms and still left a permanent mark. Alex Kovalev was never supposed to succeed by NHL standards. He didn't grind like a Gianta or lead like a Crosby. He didn't always listen to coaches or win over every locker room, but somehow he still carved out a career that millions dream of. He gave fans moments they'll never forget and left defenders wondering what just happened. He was an enigma, and that's what made him unforgettable. So now we ask you, was Alex Kovalev a lazy talent who never reached his true ceiling? Or was he proof that true brilliance can't always be coached? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story left you wanting more, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the most fascinating figures in sports.